morning, good morning. Good
Morning.
morning, CEO.
Good morning, Madam Simmons.
Yep. This morning we are here in Gbarpolu County and we are speaking here with the Chief Education Officer of Gbarpolu County School System. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Could you
I'm
please
blessed too.
introduce yourself to us?
Okay. I'm Charles A. Dennis Senior, County Education Officer of Gbarpolu County. I am an educator by training. Obtained my first degree, my bachelor degree in secondary education, and got my master's degree in education, administration, and supervision. So this has been uh, basically my work over the years. For over 25 years I have been teaching. I've taught several high schools, basically in Mosuala County, with all the faith-based and faith-based school system. Also, the last high school I taught was the J. Rabos Minute High School, where I ended my secondary service. Then I started teaching at the University of Liberia, where I taught for many years. By coincidence, I just saw one of my students in there, Josh here. He's here working with the Cali school here. I've taught at the United Methodist University, both English department and education department. I've also taught at the Stella Maris Polytechnic University, and I'm also teaching at the African Methodist Episcopal University. So teaching has been my life, and I enjoy teaching. I have a great passion for this job, and I just give God the glory for His grace upon me as I enjoy my profession.
Thank you, thank you. Now, this morning, the questions that I'm going to ask, I aim to understand the government side, their role, the challenges and strategies in addressing girls' education in Papua, the barriers. Let's do it, that part over. You can take that part out. You can push it back. Oh, we can start over because I made something else. So, thank you, CEO. Today, our conversation surrounds questions aimed to understand the government's role, challenges, and strategies in addressing the barriers to girls' education in Papua. So, the first question would be, what are the main challenges the government faces in ensuring all girls in
Good
Papua
morning.
have access to quality education?
Yes, it's so good that your question is so interesting, knowing the challenges, the strategies that the government is engaged with facing in treating girls' education in Gbarpolu. Uh, though Gbarpolu is a traditional county, and most of our young girls, mostly during the period at which they go to the traditional booth, there can be always less enrollment for girls in school at that time. That is one of the major challenges we are faced with here. Uh, early, early childhood pregnancy is another major then and challenge too. But thank God ARAS has made some intervention to motivate, and that is a basic strategy that the government was able to craft. And ARAS is the one sponsoring that, where they pay girls fees, encourage them to be in school. So the enrollment for female in Gbarpolu has increased as opposed to previous years because of ARA's intervention. So basically, there's some improvement in girls, in the enrollment of girls' education in Gbarpolu.
So, in other words, the girls are being paid to go to school.
Yeah,
What's the program about the IRAS?
yeah. Then every academic year, each female student receives something for transportation as a means of motivating them to be in school. I think the amount is 250.
It was 240 per semester at the secondary level.
Okay.
So the RAS is actually improving results in secondary education under the World Bank project that the Ministry renovated 156 public high schools across the country. And from the high schools, little girls in the secondary section were given that opportunity where they give them that money per semester for uniform, for upkeep, and other things. So it was actually for 3 years period, but I know why they will continue this year.
That is our anticipation. It is actually 240 United States dollar per semester.
Per semester. Okay. So we welcome the DEO.
That's a resident DEO for Gbarpolu City.
Okay, resident DEO for Gbarpolu City. Could you please introduce yourself?
I'm James L. Yukmolo, DEO for Gbarpolu District, or also resident DEO for Gbarpolu County.
Okay, thank you. We welcome you to the conversation. So, what I guess what we just talked about were the policies or programs currently. Yeah. Okay, so what policies or programs are currently in place to support girls' education in Gbarpolu? Because what we just discussed will be part of it.
Yeah. We are trying to see how best we can formulate other programs to support girls' education in school, meaning in Gbarpolu. See, when you educate a girl child, you are providing education for a nation. So our focus point is on girls' education. We'll see how best we come up with other strategies that will motivate them to remain in school. Like what the World Bank is doing through the RFA program, we are trying to see how best we can come up with other means just to motivate our girls to keep them in school. And that is a focus of this government.
Yeah, you found out that what he was saying when the ministry introduced that financial aid for girls at secondary level, you saw that there was an increasement in girls' enrollment and retention. So the ministry did not only stop there. The ministry assigned guidance counselors to each of the high schools.
Right.
To interact with the girls, to see their challenges so that they can remain in school. And when you go to the public high schools, they have guidance counselors that are interacting with the girls, also the boys. The government also want to replicate that in public and in private schools too, so that they can have guidance counselors. So actually, that will also help to increase, girl enrollment and retention at the secondary level. Because you see that at the primary level, the enrollment for boys and girls is almost parallel. But when you transition to junior high and senior high, the girls are lacking behind. And it's due to so many factors. So we want to bring them on par. And that we want to need to encourage them.
Yeah, as I already said, regarding the guardians or counselors in school, our female students are faced with too many social challenges. So one of the roles that the guardian counselors are playing, as you already said, to interact with the female students, know what are the issues they are faced with, motivate them, keep them focused. So if you visit the public secondary schools, you will see interaction between the guardian and counselors and the female students. Whether it is home problems, social problems they are faced with, these guardian counselors are helping them.
Yeah, also some are role models for them. That you can go at that level, you too can make it.
So, okay, how does the government plan to address areas that prevent girls from attending school? So we talk about the ones who are attending.
Yeah.
So what's about those who haven't come to us that preventing them from coming to the school? What's in place for that?
As we speak to you, we are having a program called Bike to School Enrollment Drive. I to be appearing on the local radio station tomorrow to discuss about this Bike to School Enrollment Drive. Gbarpolu County is one of the counties with low enrollment, particularly girls. So this campaign is all about going into the community, having engagement at the school level, at the district level, at the county level, to say that we can motivate in the enrollment for both girls and boys in school. So we do that at 3 different engagement level. As I said before, at the school level, and on the committee you will have the district administrators, whether it's the district commissioner or and the district superintendent. You have the PTA school board for that district on the committee too. You have the D and the DO on that committee, and some community-based organizations, youth group, they all constitute, they all are part of this committee.
Whether as traditional and religious
leaders. At the county level, the superintendent, the county education officer, and other leaders, both traditional and religious leaders, they all are on the committee. We will begin to go to the communities in neighborhoods, encouraging our students to return to school, particularly those who are not in school. And there are a lot of messages we are preparing that will attract them.
Very good. So now let's talk about the issue of safety. Girls' safety to and from school. What measures do you have in place?
Yeah, you'll find that some of our schools are a bit distant from the town. And that becomes an issue. So community engagement is very key. That's the reason why the students should live in group when they're going to a particular school. After school, they should come in group for safety. Because if you are alone walking on that road, the possibility of something happening to you maybe is close to 90.7%. But when people are in group, it's safer. If a teacher also is assigned to the next community that taking those children to the particular school, that teacher will take them to school, after school, bring them back in the community. And that also will put safety measures. That will be a safety measure in protecting the birds. But equally so, some schools are now, they are in the community. But the safety of our students is also a concern. That's why the community, the teachers, and the students themselves need to protect themselves or campaign to minimize some of the things that are going on in our communities. If the students are aware of what measure to take in preventing themselves, I think they stand a better chance of protecting themselves. So it's almost a triangular form: the community, the students, and the teachers work together in safeguarding the issues. Now, you also found out that in some of our community, wash problem is a problem. So when they were building our schools, most of our schools were they pay latrines. And our girls cannot use it, even the boys cannot use it pay latrines these days. These latrines should be transformed into modern latrines. So if they are not using the latrine and having to use the butches, it's terrible. So many things can happen. So when these wash facilities are also transformed on our campuses, students will not go maybe in the bush to eat yourself. If you go in the bush to eat yourself, the possibility you have baba snakes or other things. So that's the reason why when you construct a school this time, although even the structure we have, it's better to construct boarding, build latrines, and improve the wash facilities on the campus so that students can be on campus. So You continue to act on safety. Teachers should know their boundaries. Students should know their boundaries. When that happens, our students will be safe. And the community as a whole should be involved in safeguarding our students.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Wa. Man, see Messenger, I'll have to what you just said regarding the safety of our female students to and from school. And you know, in most of these rural areas, like Gbarpolu County, is a rural community, and you have the schools only located at the district seat. So most of the students live from different towns, different villages, work some of them 2 hours, some one hour just to get to the school. Next Tuesday we'll be having meeting with all the principals. We'll be encouraging them to speak to the students, as already said, not to go to school alone from your town or from your village. They must be able to congregate at the particular point where they all can work together. The other day I was coming from Monrovia driving. I saw 2 girls walking this place. Said they were going to Bama Central High School. And another time it was about 6:30 in the morning. And they had to be on campus by 7:30 walking that place away, and we had to give them lift to drive them on their own campus. So after having that experience, we will be encouraging our principals to carry out these messages into their different schools, encouraging the students to go in group and come in group. If there are some teachers who live in those towns or villages, they can accompany and the students. It will help them too.
That would be very good, because I've seen them too before, early morning coming to Gbarpolu. I've seen them going back. I've seen situations where one person is left all the way back.
Yeah.
So how does the government collaborate with the local communities and organizations to promote girls' education?
I continue to see your focus is on girls'
Yeah,
education.
that's why we are here. We are talking about bridging this gap.
I was just telling the director at the Ministry of Education, the director for girls' education. So you see, all the guardians and counselors at the different public secondary schools, they only focus on the girls at those schools. They don't seem to care about the boys too.
No, rightly so. The reason being, this whole system, the whole Gbarpolu, you have only 2% of girls who graduate high school. So there's a concern.
So there's a concern.
The boys way up there, the girls down here.
I know,
so how can we bridge it and bring them to a comparable?
So everybody has to have their head on deck to sit down.
Yeah.
We increase the women of girls in
Yes,
school.
we have to.
So that
So what steps are being taken to address cultural or traditional practices that hinder girls' education?
it's just creating our awareness. We're very careful as we discuss some of these traditional issues. Well, we have to create awareness, motivating our parents to send their female children to school, encouraging, engaging, and use the traditional leaders too. Now what they are part of the back to school in women campaign, so that they too can help us carry out these messages to our traditional people. When you educate a female student, you are educating a nation. The girls will be home with the children as opposed to the father. So we will focus on motivating our girls, but we will do that very consciously too, so that we can get offended really when it comes to the tradition.
Okay, I know the tradition you go to the practices and stuff. But what's about scheduling? Do you consider them as you schedule the school year? What time they go? Because I'm thinking since we have that problem.
That has been an issue.
Okay.
And we are not telling them to do away with their
Traditions and
traditional culture, but in totality. ministry has her own calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So you will look at the ministry calendar, maybe use the vacation period and measure in a way that even when you carry them there, before the vacation is over, they are back to go to school. But if school is in session, then you open your own session too. Your session will disrupt the entire school year. And that's what has been happening in some of our communities. So you find out that at the beginning of the school year, enrollment is high.
Yes.
But when the cultural activity sets in, it brings disruption and that enrollment will drop. And those that you take it out, they will come back, they may not cope with the lesson. So traditional leaders should be talked to look at the military's own calendar, economic calendar, and come out with their own calendar so that they will not disrupt the military's calendar.
But this been going on for a while now.
Yeah,
Hopefully
but what
they
I
can
see was
come
saying because
together.
you talking about traditional cultural activities, you have to be very cautious.
Yeah, we're cautious, but I'm just talking about the scheduling. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we can come together and
Yeah.
say, okay, this is when we do ours,
Yeah.
this is when
So,
you do yours.
yeah.
So let us agree on schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is a wisdom for which the traditional leaders they are on these things, so that they can help us sell these messages.
Get the messages back in their own common
We have to look at
discussion,
it. Yeah, we don't want to be offensive to their tradition, but we just to look at the schedule. To look at the schedule, and probably go. The academic year runs from September to June.
Yeah.
From September to June. So July, August, they have 2 months to do their tradition, so that it can disrupt or it can affect and affect the students.
So, how is the government working to improve infrastructure and resources in Gbarpolu?
Personally, we are collecting data. The government has informed all EOs across the country to submit information on the structure of different public schools across the country. You know, those ones that have solid structure, makeshift, semi and solid. So we just completed that data, was it last week?
Yeah.
And with the photos, we have taken the photo for all the schools and send it to the ministry. So they are looking at the different photos, the different posts to do the analysis and come up with a plan on reconditioning some of the schools.
These are all public schools we're talking about.
Yeah, public schools.
In addition to that, under the same hours grant, under the music education, I said one of the say public high schools were renovated. And all the public high schools in Gbarpolu were also renovated. In addition to that, government decided to elevate 25 junior high schools. Gbarpolu also benefited from that. 3 of those junior high schools were elevated to a high school. Bangang Baweta, Belek Pasama, and Kumo.
So we have how many high schools now in the whole Gbarpolu?
So if you add those 3 to the current, that's 3 will be elevated. You have 1, 2, will be that's 5, that's 8.
8 public.
Almost 8 public high schools.
Yeah,
Public
8.
high schools.
And how many students are we talking about?
But we can give
I
you
can't give a definite answer right now.
Or do we have enough
Students?
schools for students?
At the public, for public high schools, we may have enough for our students because enrollment has not reached the level
We want it to reach.
Yeah. So it's somehow big, it's somehow implemented. So now those high school, the junior high school are elevated to a high school. You find that students in those communities and other surrounding areas don't know how to come to Gbarpolu. You'll be in Bele. Now you go in Bele now, Bele will have 2 high schools. You get Bele Baloma and Bele Fasama. gradually will go to the third one they are trying to elevate is Bella Yella. Bella Yella is also a senior high school. If that one goes to high school, Bella Yella will have 3 high schools. So Gbarpolu here will have 1. And Bokomo, where they have Bangangbokweta, we have 1 high school. So the only district in the county now that will not have high school will be Gongulala because of Gongula being an island district.
And that's the geography of the place. It's an island.
If you come from this side, you have to cross the Chuma River in Aquino. If you come from the Bongani side, you can't come across the Chuma River. You there?
What do you there?
So, so gradually we're getting there. If you go to Bama, you got 3 public high schools. Now Kumba will be getting 1. So the only district in the county that will not have a public high school will be Gongwara due to the island nature of that district. So when they can work on the Tuma River from Boko Musa and connect it with Gongwara, then maybe the junior high school in that with Parapola can be elevated to a high school. Gradually, everyone in different districts will have access to a high school.
Yeah, and to be honest, as he already said, we have 6 education or districts. 5 of these districts have a high school. Only 1 doesn't have a high school because of its location. But the enrollment is not encouraging. That's not what we really want, to be honest. And this is why this campaign is launched. Yes, to attract more students. We're working on the number of 12 students who will be sitting the WAS exam and this year. It will amaze you to know that a high school has 2 12 years. 2. Imagine whole high school. 2. It is discouraging. I think it is better faster now. Yeah, I love better faster now. Or better. Then it will be better faster now. When I got the report from the principal asking about the number of students and interest, he said 2. So yeah, even what they no, I don't know. I don't know. And what from is to the high school there? 6. And 12 years.
Without new structure.
Without new structure. Beautiful and building.
Yeah, they put extra 3 classrooms. Offices.
So we are working on that. And next we will be putting different tables at strategic points and motivating our students to return to the school. Yeah.
So what initiatives are in place to prevent early marriage and keep girls in school?
Yeah, these guardians counselor, they are counseling our girls to see how best they can make sound decision to prevent early pregnancy and early marriage. And that is the fundamental work of this guardian counselors in all the public secondary high school. And that is what they want to them just for that purpose.
And parents too should be encouraged to keep their grandchildren in school instead of giving them out in early marriages, going to additional settings. Some put on their time to the girls. They tend to put more focus on the boys, and they say the girl will soon leave my house and send her to a wedding home. But if you sit with the parents and talk to them and leave for the girl to be in school, it's important. Then the girls too, from their own end, should be able to prevent themselves. There are a lot of services around they can use to prevent themselves. And if they can take advantage of these services, they will also keep them in school.
So let's talk about monitoring and evaluation. How does the government monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of programs in improving girls' education? How does the government do that?
Yeah, this is why all of the DEOs they have a mobility to visit all the schools in their district every week to ensure that they monitor those programs in the schools and do some evaluation. Again, your focus will be on girls, for both our girls and our boys. Yeah. So the monitoring aspect is not limited to girls, but for all students.
And the guidance counselors are also in charge of the monthly report. Yeah, supervisors on issues that are occurring in the various schools. So they have a leverage. They don't even report to the principal. No, they report directly. They don't even report to DEO. They report straight to the division at the ministry.
Yeah. And there's
So
a division there.
even if a teacher or a DO is linked
Yeah.
in that report, they'll come and do a pipeline.
So what are the long-term goals for girls' education in Gbarpolu, and what strategies are in place to achieve these long-term goals?
As we continue to say, and the retention of our girls in school remain a paramount concern to all of us. So we continue to do everything in our power to sustain girls in school. We keep carrying out the awareness, encouraging them. The PTA is involved in this process. Our local leaders are involved. The traditional people are involved. The religious leaders are involved. So that together we can work to sustain all of our students in school, even those who are in school, to motivate them to return to school and let them get to know the consequences of being out of school. And they should also know the benefits of being in school. So we are doing our best to show that all of us can achieve this goal.
Thank you very much, and I wish you success in the program coming up, the back to school.
Okay,
I hope you will increase your enrollment.
that is our focus. That is our goal.
Yeah, with the introduction of school feeding to at a primary level,
Yes.
by various meals,
Yeah, also the food feeding.
we hope that that also will hold the
So
government
Right.
definitely,
direction. Because you go to school, maybe seeing smoke at the kitchen, and then you go more.
And it's what we are trying to go to school.
You hope get it. You are hopeful at least having a meal, you going back home.
Yeah, there's 2
Yeah.
hours to school.
So when WF people are giving food to school, you need to have special ration for girls.
Yes.
That also helps to keep going on. Yes.
Thank you very much, CEO.
Thank you.
CEO.
Thank you.
We're
We
all
really
in it together.
appreciate you. Really appreciate you. You are a blessing to the work here in Gbarpolu County. We appreciate your effort, and we pray that God's amazing grace will continue to be upon you as you contribute towards the development of girls' education in Gbarpolu.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your intervention.
Thank you.